This comes as the creator of an ICE tracking app, which was pulled from Apple's App Store under pressure by the Trump administration, has just filed a new lawsuit today, claiming comments like this show the Trump administration suppressed his First Amendment rights.
We had Apple and Google take down the ICEBlock apps. Hope they continue to comply with that.
Out front now is the creator of the ICEBlock app, Joshua Aaron. And Joshua, it's a pleasure to talk to you again. Obviously, tonight, a big development, this lawsuit. Why do you think you have a case against Trump?
Well, I think we have a case because they violated our First Amendment rights. If we look back in 1963, there was a Supreme Court case called Bantam Books v. Sullivan, where they defined jawboning as unconstitutional government coercion to suppress speech. And they established that jawboning is, in fact, a violation of the First Amendment. And so,
well, let me, if I can interject, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of reach, meaning nobody has to amplify, no one has to help you amplify your speech. In this situation, your speech, it actually is in breach of the law. This is an app that is trying to help criminals evade law enforcement. I'll give you an example. You cannot walk up to a police officer and say, "Hey, sir, I would like to purchase 10 pounds of meth." And then when the officer says, "Turn around, you're under arrest," you say, "Well, no, this is free speech. I'm just talking. I can say certain things. This is my speech. I'm only asking a question. I'm only saying something." You cannot use the free speech argument in furtherance of a crime. That's not how this works. So what he's doing is he's trying to abuse our free speech and muddy the waters and pretends that it was his speech that was being restricted and not that he was interfering with law enforcement. That is illegal. That's obstruction. Whether it's on an app, whether you're running into a building and warning people that police are here, it is still you helping criminals evade the law. It's a huge difference. So I kind of take offense that someone like this Poindexter here is pretending to lecture us on how the Constitution works when he clearly knows he's in the wrong. These liberals are insane.
So what AG Pam Bondi and this administration did to us was, in fact, jawboning. And so, it kind of makes me think about my favorite quote from Ben Franklin. When he was asked what type of government the delegates had created, his response was, "A republic, if you can keep it." And his point was that the survival of our democratic republic is not guaranteed.
That part is true. He said it's a republic if we can keep it. And that's what we're doing. See, us evicting illegals out of the country, illegals who are illegally voting in favor of communists and globalist puppets to be in charge of our country so that we lose our sovereignty and we lose our nation. That's what we're doing now. We're fighting against that. That's why these illegals have to leave, because they are voting, they are receiving benefits, they're draining our economy, and they're shifting our society. Remember, you bring in the third world, you become the third world. They're not assimilating to us, so we're going to have to assimilate to them. We lose our country. So we're doing what we can to shore things up. So it's insane to listen to someone pretend to be intelligent, but is lying to you and pretty much perverting the law to try to pretend that he's been unjustly silenced. That's insane. I'll be honest. I remember when the federal government under Biden shut down Parler. This isn't the first time an app's been removed, but they had no reason to shut down Parler. They were just saying that it was a bunch of right-wing people like myself that were talking to each other on there, and they wanted to shut us up. And this was in the days before Elon Musk bought Twitter. This was back when I got kicked off of Facebook. I got kicked off of Instagram. So this was in the old days. So this isn't the first time the government does intervene, but they have way more grounds to remove an app called ICEBlock than they did Parler. So let's just be real.
In fact, quite the opposite. It requires an active and informed citizenry. And a lesson we should all take from that is that when we see our federal government or government in general doing something wrong, it's our duty as citizens to stand up and hold them accountable. And that's exactly what we're doing here.
Okay, so our upfront legal analyst, Ryan Goodman, was looking at your case, and he says, look, he thinks you've got a shot with this lawsuit at success. He did warn, though, and I just wanted to read what he wrote, Joshua. He said, a lot may turn on whether the DOJ can show that Apple removed the app based on the company's internal standards of safety. And basically, this is the argument that someone could see a post on the app about, oh, hey, ICE agents are here at this Target parking lot, for example, and that somebody could see that, be sitting, lurking on the app, and then come and target those ICE agents violently. How will you make the case that your app does not pose a risk to agents by this people notifying where they are?
Well, I think it comes back to the same rhetoric that's been used since the inception of any kind of public law enforcement reporting in the digital platform. I believe it was Waze who did the first one with speed traps. And so the local, state, and federal officials, they used the exact same rhetoric. Somehow they figured if you could see a police officer doing a speed trap in public and you told somebody else about it, magically they were going to jump out of their car and start smashing the police car and attacking the police officer. Obviously, that's ridiculous. That doesn't happen. What do? They slow down and they avoid the conflict. That's what it was developed for. And in fact, in 3 different places in the app, it says for informational purposes only, do not obstruct law enforcement. So this was never intended to be anything other than an informational tool that allowed people within a 5-mile radius of the reported sighting to decide for themselves whether or not they wanted to approach the area in which ICE was sighted.
And just to be clear, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that actually was a point. It's very important at this point that you had to be within a few miles, actually, your phone GPS location of where the ICE agents were to actually see the notification, and the notification would disappear after just a few hours. Correct?
That's exactly right. Yes. Anybody within a 5-mile radius of a reported sighting would receive a notification, and that notification would be automatically removed in 4 hours' time because odds are that ICE wouldn't be there anymore, and we didn't want to continually scare people or have them avoid a business, for example.
Right, which obviously is very crucial. All right, well, Joshua, all this crucial in the crucial context on the news of this lawsuit. And thanks so much. It's good to talk to you again.
I'll be honest, it's a clever argument to bring up Waze and their speed traps. The difference is people looked at Waze having a heads up about speed traps and police radar as more so a driver safety concern. What ICEBlock is doing is completely different. We have active immigrations and custom enforcement agents looking for criminal illegals that are in the country who have committed crimes. We're trying to find them. You're helping them get away before ICE could arrive, or to alert them that they're in the area so you can hide out or run. That's different than public safety. It's a completely different argument. I know they're going to say, well, informing them that ICE is coming versus informing them that there's a speed trap ahead, they're the same. It's not. But it's a clever argument and it's a good try. But it's a big difference. And also, no one's looking to jump out and attack police officers who are doing traffic enforcement. People aren't looking to dox police officers who are conducting speed traps, but they are actively looking to dox and attack ICE agents and their families because they do live in these communities that they service. Just like the National Guard, ICE agents are from the areas that they work in. Therefore, this does put them in harm's way. But also for you to want to prevent pedophiles, child rapists, drug dealers, drug traffickers, for you to want to prevent them from being arrested means you don't have the best interests of our country and our fellow Americans in mind. You don't have the needs of our children or what's better for public safety. You're only thinking about yourself, which I find problematic. Again, just because people speak English and are born in the United States doesn't mean they're Americans. Apparently, there's different types of Americans. You can be an American like me, or you can be an American like this guy, but you can't be both. So you're going to have to pick a side. I'm a patriot. I'm a conservative. I believe in protecting children. I believe in public safety. I live here. These people could care less about public safety. Most of them are gay. They don't have children. They're not married. They hate life. They're suicidal. So who would you rather listen to? A person who's suicidal with nothing to lose? Do you think they're going to have the best interest for you and your family in mind? Do you think they care about your tomorrow? I don't. So his argument that this is a free speech violation is null and void. It's bullshit. It will be thrown out. But you know what? If a lawyer is going to take his case and waste his money, go for it. Go for it. There's lawyers that you can sue a ham sandwich. Doesn't mean you're going to win. So let him try to go up against Trump. It's his money. Go for it. But no, this is not a free speech violation. This is a using technology to obstruct law enforcement violation. So do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back in about 20 minutes with another episode. And remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.